Alright, so this is a test run and preview of a custom-built PC I put into this old X-Blade tower case with the blue LED out front that still works, the optical drive that I took from some other desktop. Very characteristic look from early 2000s to mid 2000s, I'd say. I kind of like it. Similar logo on the side panel. So we have a clear window in here that previously had a blue LED fan that I put elsewhere years ago. And more to note on this in a moment. There's a Thermaltake TR2-500W power supply. Definitely enough for this system. The AMD A8 Pro-7600 4-core 4-thread CPU with stock heatsink and fan, it looks like. 16 gigabytes of SK Hynix 1333 MHz RAM. That is the EVGA GTX 652 GB overclocked graphics card, not too bad. All on a Gigabyte GA-F2A88X0D3H motherboard. There's 3 solid-state drives, SanDisk, Samsung, and Toshiba, all 128 gigabytes. I just have a lot of those right now. There's the back of the optical drive. There's not much for cable management in this case, unfortunately. On the back I/O of the card, we have 2x DVI and a mini HDMI. There's a range of audio, RJ45 Ethernet port, 4x USB 2.0, 2x USB 3.0, old style PS2 mouse and keyboard port. And here's an example of the Heaven benchmark, and there was an average of 35 to 45 frames per second, depending what was going on screen. Not too bad, and definitely indicative of higher quality 3D games, as you'll see in a moment. With Skater XL, I was able to get between 30 and 45 to up to 60 frames per second from high to low graphics settings. For a game like this, you probably want to keep high if you can, just because it looks a lot better. There's something about this game that with good graphics, it just flows so well. And it actually plays pretty well in the system, I have to say. I played it for quite a while, just trying to get a good line. And it kind of worked out, I guess. And it's no hiccups, good flow. So even though you're not running, say, 60 frames per second or more, as you can see, it doesn't make a huge difference for a game like this. Dead by Daylight is another example. I would say that you don't need to hit 60 frames per second. Of course, that would be better. It can always be better, but I was running at 30, 35 frames per second, depending on what was going on screen on medium settings, I believe. And it was definitely more than playable. Yeah, I had a easy time playing this game like this. So it's, unless you're playing a competitive first-person shooter, I think you'll be okay. And a game like Golf It, where you can link up with friends, this game ran really well. 35 to 60 frames per second, depending on what the graphics quality was set at. This game looks really good with high settings, but adjusted a little bit, you can still maintain some of the vanity features of it to make it look good and also play well at the same time. But I do think that you'll have to make some adjustments to have smooth gameplay. But as you can see here, totally playable. And actually quite fluid with the graphics, not a lot of hiccups on these settings. So here's Counter-Strike CSGO. I don't play a lot of this game, mainly just for testing systems out. But I was hitting anywhere between 50 to 90 frames per second, depending on how I modified the graphics settings. I didn't have to turn it down low to have a good experience. and I think you'll be able to consistently play this game at minimum 60 frames per second online competitively. I typically only play this game against bots because the only time I actually play this game is for testing systems, and I find that I don't want to get too involved in a match once in a while though. So here we have Tomb Raider. As you can see, the frames per second is so far out. It's not even it's remarkable, but I mean, because it's saying 280, 290, 300 frames per second, that doesn't mean it's the best system. It just means that this is an old game, and just an example of a game that you can play fluidly with no hiccups at all on the system and have a good time doing it. Old classic. So I hope this video helped you decide what you're choosing to install in a budget PC build. You don't need the latest and greatest just to play some games that are new and old. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully this helped you out. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice day.